Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every man's life, indeed in every woman's life, when the world seems determined to test the strength of your spirit, a moment when storms rise, tempests howl, and circumstances appear bent on your destruction. But I say to you today, you have within you a power so great, so indomitable, that when properly harnessed, it can withstand any adversity. Act as if nothing affects you. Not because you are blind to reality, but because you are the master of your own mind. You do not yield to pressure. You convert it into power. You do not react to chaos. You respond with clarity, purpose, and calm resolve. This, my friends, is not arrogance. It is personal power. It is the unwavering belief that nothing external can control the internal unless you permit it. And today we will unlock that power. To master your mind is to master your life. It begins with the understanding that you are the master of your own thoughts. Too often we allow external circumstances to shape our internal reality. We let the noise of the world, the challenges of life, and the opinions of others dictate how we feel, how we think, and ultimately how we act. But the key to true personal power lies in the ability to control one thing above all else: the way you respond to the world around you. You see, your mind is a powerful tool, capable of creating realities, shaping perceptions, and driving actions. But like any tool, it must be properly honed and maintained. The first step in mastering your mind is recognizing that thoughts are not facts. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it has authority over your actions. Just because the world presents challenges doesn't mean they must define who you are or how you respond. Your thoughts, while powerful, are not the ultimate truth. They are only the products of your past experiences, perceptions, and beliefs, and they can be changed. This realization is both liberating and empowering. It means that no matter what happens in life, no matter how intense the pressure or how overwhelming the obstacles, you have the ability to choose how to respond. You have the power to take control of your mind and train it to focus on what matters most, not on what threatens you. Instead of reacting to the stress, the fear, the chaos, you can learn to respond with purpose, clarity, and composure. To do this, you must begin by developing self-awareness. Self-awareness is the foundation of all personal growth. It means taking the time to understand your own thoughts, emotions, and triggers. When you are self-aware, you can recognize when negative or destructive thoughts begin to take hold, and you can choose to redirect your focus. You can begin to notice the automatic patterns of thought that might be leading you to react impulsively, emotionally, or irrationally. With awareness, you gain the power to change. But awareness alone is not enough. You must cultivate mental discipline. This means training your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you fear. It means conditioning your mind to remain steady and calm in the face of adversity, to stand firm in your purpose, and to trust in your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Mental discipline is built through consistent practice, just as physical strength is built through regular exercise. The more you practice, the stronger your mind becomes, and the easier it is to stay in control of your reactions. One of the greatest challenges to mastering the mind is the power of emotion. Emotions are powerful, and when we allow them to dictate our behavior, they can easily overpower reason and rational thinking. Fear, anger, frustration, these emotions can cloud our judgment and make us react impulsively. But here's the secret. Emotions, like thoughts, are not permanent. They are temporary states that come and go. The trick is not to fight them, but to observe them without attachment. Acknowledge the emotion, but don't let it control you. Recognize that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. The ability to detach from your emotions allows you to maintain control of your thoughts and actions. It allows you to choose how to respond, regardless of how you feel in the moment. And this is where true power lies. When you can act with purpose, even in the face of intense emotion, you are demonstrating mastery over yourself. You are no longer a slave to your feelings or your environment. You are the captain of your own ship. Another key to mastering your mind is to develop a clear vision of your goals. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to stay focused and resilient in the face of challenges. You are less likely to be distracted by external pressures or the opinions of others because you know where you are going. You know what you are working towards. A clear vision provides you with a sense of direction, purpose, and determination. It gives you the strength to act as if nothing affects you because you know that every challenge is just another stepping stone on the path to your goal. Finally, it's important to remember that mastery of the mind is a lifelong journey. It is not something that happens overnight. It takes time, effort, and patience. You will face setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt, but with each setback, you gain new insights and new strength. With each challenge, you grow, and with each moment of doubt, you have the opportunity to prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming anything. Through this journey, you will learn that the greatest power lies not in controlling the world around you, but in controlling the one thing that truly matters, your own mind. Emotions are powerful forces within us, capable of shaping our thoughts, actions, and experiences. But what if I told you that emotions should not be the rulers of your life, that they should serve you instead of controlling you? Too often we find ourselves at the mercy of our emotions. We allow fear, anger, frustration, or even joy to dictate how we react to situations and people. When this happens, we give up our power. To truly master your mind and live a life of purpose and clarity, you must learn to treat emotions as servants, not masters. The first step in making emotions your servants is recognizing that they are natural responses to external stimuli. Emotions themselves are not inherently good or bad. They are simply reactions to what is happening around us or within us. However, the way we react to those emotions is what determines their impact on our lives. If you allow an emotion to dictate your actions without considering its long-term consequences, it can lead to impulsive decisions, misunderstandings, and regret. But when you recognize an emotion for what it is, just a feeling that arises in response to a situation, you can begin to separate yourself from it and choose your response deliberately. Imagine walking into a room and hearing people speak negatively about you. The natural emotional reaction might be hurt, anger, or frustration. These emotions are immediate and powerful, and it would be easy to respond with the same negative energy. You might feel compelled to defend yourself, react angrily, or shut down emotionally, but the person who has learned to treat their emotions as servants understands that emotion does not have to control behavior. Instead of reacting impulsively, they can acknowledge the emotion. Yes, I feel anger, but they can choose not to act on it. They can remain calm, centered, and rational, deciding what the best course of action is, not based on how they feel in the moment, but based on what is in alignment with their purpose and values. This ability to detach from emotions and respond with intention is a skill that can be developed over time. It requires emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions and the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence doesn't mean suppressing or denying your emotions. It means acknowledging them and choosing how to deal with them in a way that aligns with your goals and values. It's about understanding that emotions, while they may be strong, are temporary and do not define you. You are the one who gets to choose how to respond. There is a profound power in realizing that you are not your emotion. When emotions arise, you can observe them without attachment, without allowing them to shape your identity or determine your actions. This detachment creates a sense of freedom. You are free from being at the mercy of your emotions. Instead of reacting blindly, you can take a step back, breathe, and assess the situation with clarity. You are free to choose how to respond based on your higher self, your long-term goals, and your inner peace. Rather than reacting impulsively from a place of emotional distress, For instance, consider a situation where someone insults you. The immediate emotion might be hurt or indignation, but instead of allowing that emotion to trigger a defensive response, you can decide to let it go. You can choose to rise above the insult, acknowledging that the person's words do not define your worth, nor do they control your behavior. In this moment, you demonstrate emotional mastery. You have not let an external situation dictate your response. You have chosen to be the one in control of your actions. Moreover, emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing emotions as some might think. Suppression can lead to pent-up feelings that can manifest in unhealthy ways later on. Instead, emotional regulation involves processing emotions in a healthy way, feeling them, acknowledging them, and then choosing the appropriate response. This process is critical for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. It's about allowing yourself to feel the emotion, but not allowing it to overwhelm or dictate your life. It's about being able to express your feelings in a healthy manner rather than allowing them to control you. In addition, by understanding and managing your emotions, you also begin to better understand the emotions of others. When you are in control of your emotions, you are able to approach others with empathy and compassion, recognizing that they, too, are experiencing their own emotional responses. This gives you the ability to engage in more meaningful relationships, communicate more effectively, and resolve conflicts more constructively. Emotional mastery allows you to not only control yourself, but to understand and connect with others on a deeper level. The journey to treating emotions as servants begins with self-awareness. It's about noticing your emotional triggers and understanding what causes certain feelings to arise. Once you have this awareness, you can take the necessary steps to reframe your thinking and approach situations with a calm, centered perspective. Emotional mastery is a lifelong process, but it is one that pays incredible dividends. When you no longer allow your emotions to control you, you step into a place of power. You begin to respond to life, not react to it. You act with intention and clarity, moving toward your goals and living in alignment with your higher purpose, rather than being swept along by the waves of emotion. When faced with life's inevitable challenges, it's easy to get caught up in the rush of emotions, pressures, and urgency of the moment. But true strength lies not in reacting to every situation with immediate emotion. It lies in the ability to respond with purpose and clarity. The difference between reacting and responding is subtle, yet profound. To react is to be driven by external forces, your emotions, the actions of others, or the environment around you. It's a knee-jerk response, often unconscious and without thought. To respond, on the other hand, is to take a moment to pause, to gather your thoughts, and to act with intention. When you respond with purpose, you are not merely a victim of circumstances. You are the architect of your own actions and outcomes. Responding with purpose begins with a conscious choice to take control of your thoughts and action. Instead of allowing the rush of emotions to dictate your response, you stop and assess. You evaluate the situation, you identify the desired outcome, and you act accordingly, regardless of how you may feel in the moment. This approach gives you the power to maintain your composure, even in the most trying of circumstances. When you respond with purpose, you move forward with a clear vision of what you want to achieve and how you want to behave, not with a reaction driven by fear, anger, or frustration. This ability to pause and respond rather than react is crucial in the face of adversity. Life often brings unexpected challenges, disappointments, setbacks, failures, and it's easy to fall into a pattern of reacting emotionally. When things don't go as planned, we may feel frustration or resentment. When faced with conflict, we might respond with defensiveness or anger, but these reactions only escalate the situation and ultimately rob us of the power to influence the outcome. By choosing to respond with purpose, you create a space for thoughtful action, and in that space, you regain control. One of the most effective tools for responding with purpose is emotional regulation. Emotions are natural and valid, but when they are allowed to take the wheel, they can cloud judgment and lead to impulsive actions that we may later regret. Emotional regulation is the practice of acknowledging your emotions without letting them dominate your actions. It's about recognizing that you are not your emotions, but rather the observer of them. By acknowledging an emotion, whether it's anger, fear, sadness, or excitement, you can allow it to pass without letting it hijack your behavior. This emotional detachment allows you to stay centered, calm, and focused on the goal at hand. Think of a time when you were in a stressful situation. Perhaps you were caught in traffic, faced with a tough decision, or engaged in a heated conversation. In these moments, it can be tempting to react impulsively, whether by raising your voice, allowing frustration to take over, or giving in to panic. But by pausing for just a moment, taking a breath, and reflecting, instead of allowing external factors to control your actions, you choose your response. You act with intention rather than being swept away by the emotions of the moment. Responding with purpose requires a certain level of self-discipline. It takes practice to stop and think before acting, especially when emotions are high. The key is to understand that while you can't always control the events that happen around you, you can always control how you choose to respond to them. This control over your responses is the essence of personal power. When you respond with purpose, you are not a passive participant in life's events. You are an active creator, making decisions that align with your long-term goals and values. Another crucial element of responding with purpose is maintaining perspective. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment and allow temporary setbacks or challenges to cloud your judgment. However, by maintaining a broader perspective, you remind yourself that this moment is just one small part of your journey. This allows you to step back from the situation and view it with more objectivity. The ability to maintain perspective helps you avoid overreacting or making decisions based solely on temporary emotions. It allows you to focus on the bigger picture, aligning your actions with your long-term vision rather than getting lost in short-term frustrations. When you respond with purpose, you also create a sense of stability in your life. You are not tossed around by the waves of uncertainty, fear, or anger. Instead, you stand firm in your convictions, knowing that your actions are driven by clarity, not by external pressures. This sense of inner strength radiates outward, influencing your relationships, your work, and your overall sense of well-being. People around you begin to notice your ability to remain calm, composed, and decisive, even in the face of challenges. This quality not only strengthens your personal resilience, but it also inspires confidence in others. In addition, responding with purpose allows you to cultivate a deep sense of self-respect. When you take the time to respond thoughtfully to life's challenges, you demonstrate to yourself that you are in control of your actions. You show yourself that you are not a slave to your emotions or to the circumstances around you. Instead, you are someone who can navigate life's storms with grace, integrity, and poise. This self-respect builds over time as you recognize the power you have to act with intention in any situation. The power of responding with purpose also extends to your personal growth. Every time you choose to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, you strengthen your emotional intelligence and mental resilience. You become more adept at navigating complex situations, handling stress, and maintaining your focus on what truly matters. With each decision to act with purpose, you move closer to becoming the best version of yourself. The foundation of true strength lies in unshakable inner confidence. Confidence is not just a surface-level trait. It is the very core of how you approach challenges, opportunities, and life itself. To be truly confident is to possess a deep-seated belief in your abilities, your worth, and your purpose, regardless of external circumstances. Confidence is not something that is bestowed upon you by others or gained through external validation. It is something that must be cultivated from within, and once it is developed, it becomes a wellspring of power that allows you to navigate the most difficult situations with grace and determination. At its core, confidence is a product of self-trust. Trusting yourself means having the assurance that you are capable of making decisions that are aligned with your values and goals. It is about knowing that you have the tools and resources within you to face any challenge that comes your way. This self-trust is not built on arrogance or a false sense of superiority. It is rooted in the understanding that no matter what happens, you are capable of rising above it. When you trust yourself, you are not easily shaken by the opinions of others, the criticism you might face, or the inevitable setbacks that life throws your way. You know that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth and learning. To develop true confidence, you must embrace your worth. This means recognizing that you are inherently valuable, not because of what you do or how others perceive you, but simply because you exist. So often we tie our sense of self-worth to external achievements, approval from others, or the validation of society. While accomplishments and recognition can certainly bring a sense of pride, they are not the foundation of true confidence. True confidence comes from within, from knowing that you are worthy simply because you are. When you believe in your inherent worth, you no longer rely on the approval or acceptance of others to feel good about yourself. You are not defined by the opinions of those around you. You are defined by your inner conviction that you are enough exactly as you are. This sense of worth is closely tied to self-acceptance. Confidence grows when you accept yourself fully, including your flaws, mistakes, and imperfections. Far too often, people chase perfection, thinking they must be flawless in order to be worthy of success, love, or happiness. But true confidence comes when you embrace all parts of yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your successes, and your failures. When you accept yourself unconditionally, you free yourself from the need for validation or approval from others. You are no longer bound by the fear of making mistakes or being judged. You know that your value is not contingent upon being perfect, but on being authentic and true to yourself. One of the most significant barriers to confidence is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But the person with unshakable inner confidence understands that fear is a natural part of the human experience. Fear is not something to be avoided or suppressed, but something to be acknowledged and worked through. Confidence does not mean the absence of fear. It means having the courage to move forward in spite of it. It is about trusting yourself enough to take risks, knowing that even if things don't go as planned, you have the strength and resilience to handle the outcome. Fear is a signal that you are on the edge of growth, and confidence is the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. Building confidence also requires embracing failure as a stepping stone to success. Too often, people avoid failure because they fear it will diminish their self-worth or reputation. However, failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Every successful person has encountered failure along the way. What sets them apart is not that they never failed, but that they didn't let failure define them. They learned from it, grew stronger because of it, and continued moving forward with the unwavering belief that their ultimate success was inevitable. Confidence is not the absence of failure, but the ability to persist through it, knowing that failure is not a reflection of who you are, but a lesson on the path to achieving your goals. True inner confidence also involves resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will inevitably arise. There will be moments when things do not go as planned, when setbacks occur, and when the world feels like it is working against you. But a confident person does not stay down when life knocks them down. They understand that challenges are a part of life's process, and they use these moments as opportunities to build mental and emotional strength. Resilience is the foundation of confidence, because it is through overcoming obstacles that we prove to ourselves our true potential. Every time you rise after a fall, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. Another critical aspect of building confidence is taking action. Confidence is not something that is merely thought about or wished for. It is something that is developed through action. The more you take action toward your goals, the more you build your belief in your abilities. Confidence grows through experience. It grows when you put yourself out there, face challenges head on, and learn from each step you take. Even if you fail or encounter difficulties along the way, each action you take builds a deeper sense of self-assurance. By taking action, you send the message to yourself that you are capable and deserving of success. Lastly, unshakable inner confidence requires the ability to trust in the process of life. Confidence is not only about trusting yourself, but also about trusting that the universe or whatever higher power you believe in has a plan for you. It is the belief that even in moments of uncertainty, you are exactly where you are meant to be, and that every experience is contributing to your growth. When you trust the process, you are able to let go of the need to control every aspect of your life. You can move forward with faith, knowing that each step, no matter how uncertain, is leading you toward your ultimate purpose. To truly act as if nothing affects you, one must embrace the power of resilience, the ability to withstand hardship, adapt to change, and bounce back stronger than before. Resilience is not merely a trait, but a mindset, a way of life. It is the foundation upon which individuals build their ability to remain unshaken, regardless of the challenges life throws at them. Resilience is not about being impervious to difficulties, but about learning how to manage and grow through adversity. It's the understanding that while you cannot always control what happens to you, you always have the power to control how you respond. In order to cultivate resilience, the first step is to accept the inevitable nature of challenges. Life is full of ups and downs. No one is exempt from facing hardships. We all experience failure, disappointment, loss, and frustration at some point. However, resilience begins with the recognition that these challenges are not insurmountable obstacles, but part of the human experience. They are inevitable, and therefore we must embrace them as opportunities for growth. The more we try to avoid or deny life's difficulties, the more power we give them. But when we accept that struggle is a natural part of life, we free ourselves from the fear of it. We stop viewing challenges as threats and start seeing them as stepping stones to greater strength and wisdom. Once we accept challenges as an inherent part of life, we must reframe our perspective on adversity. Resilient people do not see challenges as permanent setbacks, but as temporary circumstances that will eventually pass. This shift in mindset is essential for developing the ability to act as if nothing affects you. When you encounter a setback, it's easy to get bogged down in negative thinking. You may feel discouraged, defeated, or hopeless. But resilient individuals learn to reframe these experiences by focusing on what can be learned from them. They ask themselves, what can I gain from this, rather than why is this happening to me? This shift in thinking helps them maintain perspective, allowing them to stay focused on the bigger picture and move forward with purpose. Resilience also requires the ability to maintain a sense of purpose in the face of adversity. It is much easier to remain calm and steady when you have a clear sense of direction and a strong connection to your goals. When you know what you want and why you want it, you are less likely to be derailed by external circumstances. The challenges that come your way may slow you down, but they will not stop you. Those with a strong sense of purpose are able to see beyond their immediate struggles, recognizing that each challenge is a part of the journey toward their greater goal. This mindset helps them stay focused, even in the face of difficulties, and enables them to act with determination and confidence. Another key element of resilience is the ability to maintain emotional control. Life's challenges often trigger strong emotions: fear, anger, frustration, or sadness. These emotions are completely natural, but they can also cloud our judgment and hinder our ability to think clearly. Resilient people have learned how to manage their emotions in such a way that they do not allow them to dictate their actions. They acknowledge their emotions, but do not let them control their responses. Instead, they create space between the stimulus, the challenge, and their reaction. This space allows them to choose how to respond, rather than reacting impulsively based on emotion. The ability to maintain emotional control during difficult times is one of the most powerful tools for acting as if nothing affects you. Resilience also involves adaptability, the ability to adjust to changing circumstances without losing your sense of self or your commitment to your goals. Life is unpredictable, and plans often need to be adjusted in response to unforeseen circumstances. Resilient individuals understand that flexibility is key to overcoming obstacles. They do not get locked into rigid thinking or feel defeated when things do not go as planned. Instead, they look for creative solutions, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward. Adaptability allows you to stay calm and composed in the face of uncertainty, knowing that you can always find a way forward even when things are not going according to plan. One of the hallmarks of resilience is the ability to build a support system. While resilience is often thought of as an individual quality, it is important to recognize that we all need support during difficult times. Resilient individuals know that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. They build strong relationships with people who can offer encouragement, perspective, and advice when things get tough. This support system acts as a safety net, giving them the confidence to face challenges head-on, knowing they are not alone. It also provides a source of strength and perspective during times of struggle, allowing them to remain focused on their goals. Developing resilience also requires self-care. In order to withstand life's challenges, we must be physically, mentally, and emotionally prepared. This means taking the time to nurture ourselves, whether it's through exercise, rest, meditation, or pursuing activities that bring us joy and fulfillment. When we take care of our bodies and minds, we build the energy and clarity necessary to face life's difficulties with strength and grace. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a vital component of resilience, as it enables us to be at our best when faced with adversity. Lastly, resilience is about embracing a growth mindset. Those with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed over time. They see challenges as opportunities to learn, improve, and become better. This mindset is critical for resilience because it allows individuals to view setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to develop new skills, insights, and strategies. When you approach life with a growth mindset, you are more likely to bounce back from setbacks, knowing that every experience contributes to your growth and success. In the face of life's challenges, resilience is the key to acting as if nothing affects you. It is the ability to remain calm, focused, and unwavering in your pursuit of your goals, no matter what obstacles arise. By developing resilience, you gain the strength to face difficulties with grace. You are empowered to respond with purpose and clarity rather than reacting impulsively to the emotions and pressures of the moment. One of the most powerful tools you can harness in life is the ability to maintain perspective. In times of stress, pressure, or adversity, it can be incredibly easy to become consumed by the immediacy of a situation and lose sight of the bigger picture. Your mind may race with worry, frustration, or fear, making it hard to see beyond the moment. But those who can act as if nothing affects them are able to detach themselves from the chaos of the moment and to maintain a broader perspective that keeps them grounded, focused, and moving forward with purpose. Perspective is the lens through which you view the world, and it shapes your understanding of the events around you. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the emotions of the moment, whether it's the weight of a challenging situation or the disappointment of an unexpected setback. However, the ability to step back and look at the larger context allows you to gain clarity. It's about reminding yourself that the difficulties you face are temporary, and they do not define who you are or your future. By maintaining perspective, you remove the emotional weight that a situation carries and gain a clearer, more rational view of what truly matters. The first step in maintaining perspective is to pause and reflect before reacting. When emotions are running high, it's easy to let them dictate your response. You might lash out in anger, retreat in fear, or overthink every possible outcome. But taking a moment to breathe and reflect allows you to shift your focus away from the emotional triggers of the situation. This pause is an opportunity to gain control of your thoughts and emotions. It's a moment to ask yourself, how significant is this situation in the long run? What can I learn from it, and how can I grow stronger from it? By consciously deciding to pause and reflect, you empower yourself to act with more thoughtfulness and less impulsivity. Next, maintaining perspective requires you to recognize the temporary nature of challenges. Life is filled with ups and downs, and nothing, whether good or bad, lasts forever. No matter how intense the difficulties you are facing may feel in the moment, they are part of a larger, ever-changing journey. Often it's not the challenge itself that wears you down, but the belief that it will last forever. When you step back and remind yourself that the situation is not permanent, it helps to reduce the sense of urgency or panic that might otherwise arise. This understanding gives you the space to keep moving forward, knowing that you will navigate through the storm and emerge stronger on the other side. Contextualizing your challenges within a larger narrative is another important aspect of maintaining perspective. Often, we view our struggles in isolation, focusing on how they directly impact us in the present moment. But when you expand your view to see your struggles as part of a greater narrative, whether it's your life's journey, your long-term goals, or even the collective human experience, it can be easier to accept and move through them. You might consider how other people have overcome similar challenges, or how your current struggles will eventually contribute to your personal growth and resilience. This shift in perspective helps to alleviate feelings of victimhood and instead fosters a sense of empowerment. You begin to see your challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as burdens that weigh you down. Additionally, Maintaining perspective involves choosing how you interpret events. The way you interpret a situation often determines how you feel about it. Two people can experience the same event but have completely different emotional responses based on their perspective. One person might view a setback as a failure while another might see it as a lesson. One might dwell on the inconvenience while another might recognize the chance to develop patience. By intentionally choosing to interpret situations in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals, you empower yourself to remain grounded and focused on what truly matters. This ability to reframe your experiences helps to detach from the emotional weight of external circumstances and maintain a healthier, more balanced outlook. Another essential aspect of maintaining perspective is recognizing that you are not alone. Often, when facing difficulties, we can feel isolated, as though we are the only ones experiencing hardship. However, challenges and setbacks are universal. Everyone faces them in one form or another, and you are not alone in your struggle. This awareness can bring a sense of comfort and solidarity, reminding you that hardships are part of the human experience and that they can be overcome. You gain strength from knowing that others have faced similar situations and emerged victorious. By embracing this collective wisdom and perspective, you are able to view your challenges as part of a shared human journey rather than as something unique to your experience. In addition to recognizing your connection with others, maintaining perspective also requires you to cultivate gratitude. When life gets difficult, it's easy to focus on what is going right, can significantly alter your outlook. Practicing gratitude helps to highlight the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they may seem in comparison to the challenges you face. Gratitude acts as an anchor, keeping you grounded in what truly matters. By regularly reflecting on the things you are grateful for, you remind yourself that not everything is negative, and even in the face of adversity, there are blessings to be found. Finally, maintaining perspective involves letting go of what you cannot control. Often we expend energy worrying about things outside of our control, such as the actions of others, the outcome of a situation, or external circumstances. But when you learn to focus only on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, you regain a sense of power and clarity. This shift in focus helps you release unnecessary stress and worry, allowing you to act from a place of calm and confidence. By letting go of the need to control everything, you create the space for peace and clarity to emerge. By maintaining perspective, you gain the ability to stay calm, composed, and clear-headed, no matter what challenges arise. It allows you to detach from the emotional turbulence of the moment and make decisions based on clarity, purpose, and long-term vision. It empowers you to act as if nothing affects you, no matter the circumstances, because you understand that you are capable of navigating through any storm with grace and resilience.